Teen Occupy DC protesters were arrested after occupying the abandoned Franklin School in DC. I went down to the scene to get the latest scoop on what's going on with the movement. Barney Frank has decided not to run for re-election after serving 32 years in the House. Frank's suburban Boston district was redrawn to include more conservative communities. Many speculate that Frank is eyeing a spot in President Obama's cabinet. Students and faculty from American University came out to the event to both volunteer and enjoy the events the festival had to offer. For more information on Metro projects, delays, and repairs, check out WMATA.com. For District Wire News, this has been Julie Grace Brufke.
We're here today to see politicians compete in a different kind of political field. Today, Republicans take on Democrats for the 50th annual Congressional Baseball Game for charity.
We talked to a few of the congressmen to see what they did to prepare for the game.
We've actually been working pretty hard. We've been out going in the mornings, practicing, starting about 7 a.m. at one of the high school fields for about 4 weeks now. So people have actually come a long way in the course of the 4 weeks. Surprised me and surprised myself.
We've got quite a few practices in. We work on basics. Catch the ball, throw the ball, hit the ball. Team that makes the least amount of mistakes is usually the team that wins.
It's called ibuprofen. But anyway, it's a great institution. This is my 11th year doing it, and so it's great fun.
Some of the members and former members had some words of advice for their teammates.
To always stay positive, to play to win, to treat your opponents with respect, but you play hard to win.
Listen to the coaches, be prepared, and put your whole heart in it. It's the greatest game in the history of mankind.
40 Republicans came out for the game, while Democrats had just 21 players on their roster after losing a few of their teammates from last year.
We lost 6 starters to the elections. We've replaced every one of our positions. We got players, we're ready to go.
Although the Democrats had less players, they managed to win for the 3rd year in a row with a final score of 8-2. Proceeds from the game went to the Washington Literacy Council and Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington.
Despite tensions on Capitol Hill, both parties were able to come together to raise some money for a good cause. This has been Julie Grace Brufke coming to you for Fox News Channel University.
Hello and welcome to Fox News Channel University, coming to you from the office of our nation's youngest Congressman, Aaron Schock. Thank you for joining us, Congressman.
Thanks, Julie Grace. Good to be with you.
You got involved in politics at a very young age. What motivated you at 19 to run for school board?
Well, I don't come from a politically engaged family myself, actually. Nobody in my family had ever run for office before, and I ultimately ran for the Peoria School Board in Peoria, Illinois at the age of 19, really when I saw a need on my local school board. I was an 18-year-old junior in high school, had received all of my high school credits early, and wanted to graduate early, and the school board would not allow for early graduation. And so when they wouldn't allow for early graduation, I started getting engaged and paying attention, and ultimately went and voted for the first time, and nobody was running against the incumbent school board members. And I left the voting booth that day thinking, gee, we need to get more people involved in government, thinking I would recruit somebody to run, and then discovered that you only had to be 18 and a registered voter to run for the local school board. And ultimately that's what led me to finally run against the school board president. I ended up winning that election against the school board president and getting elected to the school board at 19.
When you first arrived on the Hill in 2009, was it hard to command the respect of your older colleagues? What was your first term like?
You know, my colleagues have been great. Both Republicans and Democrats have treated me fairly and with a ton of respect. I've found public service is a lot like high school. If you work hard, you do your homework, you study hard, you come to class on time, you ask intelligent questions, you'll come to the top of the class. Same way in Congress. Nobody's an expert on everything. So what's important is that you have some humility and you recognize you don't have all the answers. You surround yourself with good people back home in your district that are experts in those different fields that you can rely on. And that ultimately then you have good judgment and you make the best decisions for the constituents that elected you.
Now, the last question I have for you is, what advice do you have for students that would like to go into the field of politics?
Well, I think the best way to get involved is to get involved with someone's campaign or get involved with someone's political office, whether it be volunteering on a congressional campaign, whether it be doing an internship perhaps in a congressional office here on the Hill. You start to get kind of an insider's view to say, gee, is this something I myself would want to do at some point and be the candidate myself? Perhaps I like a more behind-the-scenes approach. I like working for the candidate. Being in the fishbowl, so to speak, is not something that I want to take on. And perhaps somebody will say, you know what, this isn't for me. I'd rather go and do something in the public sector and so on. For those who want to run for office, what I would say is an engaged and involved community member makes the best candidate. In other words, somebody who's working out in DC is not the most attractive candidate to run for Congress, because in order to get elected, people back home got to know you. And so the best way to get engaged and involved back home is to volunteer for social service agencies, get involved in your church community, get involved in different nonprofits or schools, and as a result, you'll get to know your community will get to know you, and then hopefully if you want to step up to public service some point, you'll have a network of people that will be able to help you do so.
Thank you so much for letting us come join you today, Congressman. Make sure to check out foxnews.com/FNCU for all your college news. For Fox News Channel University, this has been Julie Grace Brufke.